Hi, Wendy Stewart. How are you?
How are you? My God, Tim, we're days away from June, which is Pride Month. Let's
Yes,
dance.
we're about to start Pride Month.
It is so cool. How was your weekend?
It was good. Firstly, welcome everybody to If These Walls Could Talk.
Welcome to If These. I got so carried away, Tim, by our little opening number.
Yeah.
Yes. Welcome, everyone. I'm Wendy Stewart, and you
And
are.
I'm Tym Moss.
Oh, I'm so glad about that. You have no idea.
I'm glad we know who's who right now because, oh my gosh, what a week. What a week.
What a whirlwind of a week, right?
Yeah, well, firstly, it started last week when I co-hosted on your show, TriVersity. That was wonderful. That was great.
TriVersity Talk, and we had James Jackson. He won the Obie Award for A Strange Loop. He is going to be here in New York City. If you're in New York City, please come to Pangea, where we're broadcasting right now. He's going to be there this Saturday at 7 and Sunday at 9:30. Both those days on the weekend, your weekend with James Jackson. He is absolutely a delightful guest.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh.
Well, then on Friday afternoon, I went down to the Village because we shot Michael Musto's music video called Iconic. And we had a ball shooting that. That was so much fun. And then, of course, I had to meet up with you later that night at the Theater for the New City for the Lower East Side Festival of the Arts. And I had performed upstairs on in the Johnson Theater, and you had performed down in the cabaret room along with Ike Avelli and Clover Welsh. And oh my God, what a night.
That I have to share something with our audience. How incredible is it when you get to be on stage at different times with your friends, but you're all in the venue. We all came over. Tim, we really cut it close because Tim was performing at Johnson. He did two wonderful numbers.
Thank you.
Turning 60, getting into what is the name of that one?
Yeah, Welcome to the 60s.
Welcome to the 60s, which is hilarious. And then, of course, a second number. And I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, damn, Belly and I are like due in the other theater. I was so afraid I was going to miss my call time. It's happened. They get you on anyway. But and then our wonderful friend Carlos from Stonewall was also performing.
Yeah. Well, tell them about your set. That was hysterical.
Very much, Tim. I debuted a new song. So my set was actually 3 parodies that I wrote, but I debuted a new one, and I wanted to do a duet with Ike Avelli on it. And it's called Don't Say Gay. And that's Don't Say Gay. So and it was great. It was really well
received. From a chorus line, Tits and Ass.
Fun. Yeah, I rewrote it. I'm sure they're thrilled that I rewrote it, and it'll probably be banned on YouTube or in Korea. I get a lot of things. They tell me they're banning it in Korea. All right, wherever you whatever that's supposed to be. But we really had a great time doing that. And then Clover Welsh, our dear friend Clover Welsh, closed the show out.
Yeah.
She did stand-up mixed with some songs, and I'm telling you, I left there on such a high.
Me too. Just getting to see everybody, and it was a wonderful, wonderful night. The Lower East Side Festival of the Arts is absolutely wonderful. It's such a great time.
Theater for the New City, who has sustained, I have to tell you, so much unique theater on the Lower East Side. How many stages do they have there, Tim? 4?
What's that?
Many stages are at the
that night they only have 2 going, but they have 4 stages total.
Right. I mean, come on, what kind of venue? And then a huge open area where they put on art shows and everything else. So we're all so excited to have venues like that to perform in, where we're
absolutely. Well, I also then over the weekend I got interviewed by Mary Catherine George for her show, and then I went to see a theatrical production of Girls Who Walked on Glass, which was really incredible. Unfortunately, they closed over the weekend, so I got like one of the last performances. But it was one of those where the audience actually moves from room. They move the audience from this room over to this room, and it continues on a storyline. And then they'll move you over to another room, which will continue on another storyline. And it was incredible. It was a really brilliant show.
Where was this done, Tim? Where was it?
Oh God, just a second. I can't think of it. Alchemical Studios on West 17th Street in Chelsea.
So it was like room after. I love that. That's like
Yeah,
sleep.
it was great.
That's so cool, right?
Yep. And then yesterday, I made my way out to Jersey City, and and I also ran into Clover Welch out there.
Yeah.
And but Brian Brennan, my producer, we finished doing the final shots and laid out the editing for my music video, which is actually for next Christmas. But yeah, so I just want to kind of get it all done and wrapped in the can. So
yeah, so like
it's been a busy week,
right? Well, on Saturday, let's see. While Tim was doing all of that, I went to 3 fabulous parties.
Yeah.
One with a lot of people from the Radical Fairies that was in the woods, which was really, really cool. The Radical Fairies is a group from, what is it, like the late 60s, early 70s, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Formed, and they dance au naturel around the maypole every year. I know May Day is big, but they also represent a very, how can I put it, when they gather a free fairy lifestyle, for lack of a better word. And everyone was super cool and friendly, and there were tents everywhere, and there was a beautiful bed right up on the rocks in the woods, which I laid down on until I saw it had bugs all over it, and then I got up and put bugs. That was that. But I had a really good time. And then Sunday, believe it or not, I had another memorial for my husband, Alan Kaplan, this time in Milford, Pennsylvania, where we are frequently. And it was really great to hear people and pay homage to him, and just, you know what, to celebrate his life. That's what it's all about, celebrating life. Isn't that the truth?
Yes, absolutely.
So many Pride celebrations planned, and we'll be rolling those out. We talk to you on the show.
Yeah. Actually, this Sunday, Queen's Pride kind of kicks off all of New York City's prides, and I will be performing on the main stage at 1:15. So anybody that can get out to Queen's Pride in Jackson Heights, try to get out there about 1 o'clock, and I go on about 1:15.
Okay, and I'm going to mark that down because I'm going to be there with the Imperial Court of New York.
Oh, good.
Pride, and one of our wonderful former empresses, Sugar Be Real, just won Miss Homecoming for Cherry Grove.
I saw that. Yeah.
A shout out to Sugar Be Real. And I'm sure she'll be done to the nines when you see her at Queen's Pride. So, oh my God. So I was so excited about our guest today, who is here in LA, not in the physical sense, in the virtual sense, because we don't have a budget on this show, but I digress. But I'm so excited to promote what she's doing and to promote her. Christina Wolford wrote Eyewitness O.J. Simpson, How It Really Happened.
Wow.
Dive into the darkness, because she is really offering a fresh new perspective on the O.J. Simpson trial. How cool is that?
Yeah.
It ain't easy, and there's a lot of stuff going on with it. So put your hands together and welcome Christina Wolford.
Yay!
Hi, Wendy. Hi, Tim. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
We are happy to have you here with us today. Can you hear us and we can hear you? It's all good?
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
Cool. How's the weather in LA? I'm just joking. I always ask people.
It's gorgeous.
Right, because it's always gorgeous.
And that's what everyone always says. It's gorgeous out.
So gorgeous is what happened with O.J. Simpson. And first of all, kudos to you, because I have so many questions as to what would make you decide to open up this can of worms, right? We know this can of worms is a full can, and see what happened around this. So I'm sure you're going to be the one to fill us in. And let me just say, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Actually, Wendy, I came out with the idea, it's true crime is the biggest thing in Hollywood.
Yes.
And with who I am, I decided to come out and tell my story. It'd been 30 years, and the truth really needed to come out. I was up against a lot of threats, to be honest with you. And I was threatened by this A-list guy, which pushed me into coming out and telling the truth about what happened that night with O.J. Simpson. I guess I just did it to keep me safe and try to get successful and get the truth out into the world.
Right. But well, so something that you knew the truth, because in thinking about you, I know that's a big thing for you. It's actually a big thing for me. Some of us just, we want the truth to be told, and we all know lots of times lies get out there and then people believe them, right? They follow them. Let me ask you, what was your connection the night of the O.J. Simpson murder?
Okay, so that night, I was putting my son down. He was 2.5 years old at the time. I owned the condo on the corner of Bundy and Montana on the first floor.
Oh.
And that night when I was putting him down, I heard this really loud noise. So I ran out onto the balcony, and this white Bronco slams in his brakes, does a 180, and looks directly up at me. We actually had eye contact, and it was a black man that looked really familiar. So, and I actually said to myself, Wendy, something really bad happened, because there was just this bad energy in the air. So the next morning when I woke up, I found out who saw me, and I was scared straight.
Well, how did you find out that he saw you?
He saw me. Yeah.
Right. Did he tell anyone? Did he, how did that information find you? You did go out and look at him, but how did you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so what happened was and I didn't say anything to anybody. I didn't know what to do. Mm-hmm. Being in that circumstance, I had an amazing career. I owned my condo, and my son was 2.5.
But also you're a single parent, correct?
Yes.
A single parent, a woman living. I mean, that you've got to take that into consideration too, right?
As I did, and that's why I didn't say anything to anybody.
Wow.
5 weeks later, it was a Sunday afternoon, and this convertible comes down the road and did the exact same thing that OJ did. Slams his brakes. I ran out onto the balcony, and he looked directly up at me. So I kind of knew that was their PI looking for me, right?
Oh, wow.
Because that doesn't happen in the middle of Brentwood. I was kiddie school. Anyway, so then half an hour later, I heard someone came to my door, and I actually really thought it was a neighbor, because I have to let you in my building. It's security. So I opened the door, and it was the man that was in the convertible that did the 180, and I didn't welcome him in. He put his hand up, pushed my door open, walked around me, could not get on my balcony fast enough. And then he sat there for just a couple seconds, turned around and started screaming that you saw OJ, didn't you? Didn't you? In a really aggressive stance to scare me. So I started crying. I told him to leave and told him that I didn't know. And I called the detectives right away. So they sent out Van Adder and Lang. I showed him everything. I told him everything. And I said, look, I'm going to need protection, and also as less press as possible, because my son's 2.5.
Oh my God.
And I know. So you know what they said? They walked away from me, and they talked for a minute. They came back and said, oh, Christina, we can't use you. We about the pretty eyewitness, and left me in an incredible harm's way.
Why did they say they couldn't use you?
They said I was too pretty. It would be all about the pretty eyewitness.
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. Because
it was like it was choreographed. It was like they were producing theater, which really, for all of us who followed the trial, it was theater at its utmost.
Exactly. I mean, it was horrible that the position they left me in, because they did follow me for 4 years. They followed me the whole time of the trial. My dad called me the first day of the trial and said, pardon me, he said, Chick, just tell me you are not the witness for OJ Simpson on the defense list. So they put me on the defense list as a witness so I could testify for the prosecution.
Wow.
Oh, jeez.
And I was surprised. I mean, why would, they were hiding me so much. Why would they put me on that defense list?
Oh my God.
Exactly. Yeah.
They
So
had you on the defense list, right? And then, like, what transpired in terms of the series of events?
After they said that I had called when they had the glove scene, because I truly believe that the reason why he did the 180 was because as soon as he hit the bright lights in the intersection, he saw his glove missing. So that's why he slammed on the brakes. I only lived a block and a half away from Nicole.
Right.
Wow.
So
you
he took
Nicole Simpson. Were you friends with her?
You know what? I used to see her every morning walking. I would walk my son, and she'd be walking her dog, and so we would just say good morning. So I didn't know her personally.
Right.
I knew casually passing her.
Uh-huh.
Lovely lady.
It's amazing that, like, because I'm thinking of the series of events, right? If you had not walked out on the balcony that night, we would never be having this conversation because you wouldn't be involved in any way. You didn't know her. You didn't know OJ. You didn't know anything except you came out on the balcony and he saw you.
Yes, which changed my life.
Oh,
yeah,
God, yeah.
Him a split second, an action in a split second changed her life. Wow.
Yeah, and I just tried to make it the best that I could, being a single mom with my career and my son. So I just kept really ultra safe. I actually moved out to Malibu to a gated community.
Because you were afraid.
Yes.
Because you were afraid.
Wow.
Well, they were following me the whole time, and they didn't leave me alone until the trial stopped. So then after the trial, they still followed me.
Who is they? Whoever
the Kardashians' PI was. His name's Patrick, by the way.
Uh-huh.
And wow. I'm going to say that because what happened is a few years later, I tried to get the story out, and OJ was actually in jail
by then, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, pardon me, for another situation.
Uh-huh.
And then, so I had called the Inquirer, and Larry was all excited. He did his due diligence. He was going to fly in the next day. They gave me a great offer. And about 4 hours later, I got a phone call that said, from Larry, and he said, "Do you remember the PI that came to your door?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, they don't want me to do the story because OJ's going to be getting out in 17.
Wow.
Hmm.
And so Larry, what is this? Larry, what's his last name? He's the person who runs the Inquirer, right? The National Enquirer at the time, right?
Yes, and I apologize. I should know that.
That's okay. Yeah.
Clarifying for our listeners and for myself. So Larry was running the National Enquirer, but he was privy to the fact that OJ would be out in 7 to 10 days.
No, this was in the year 2015.
Okay.
So what happened was he called out in 17 because he had that opportunity.
Right.
For the judge, and they didn't want the story to come out because it maybe could sway the judge's opinion of him getting out of jail.
Did anyone at any point try and threaten your life at all? Were they that obvious?
Yes.
Wow.
And they still are today.
Wow. Why on earth? Well, firstly, how about we take a couple minutes and let's rewind 30 years ago, because some of our listeners might not have been there or understood the relevance of it. But 30 years ago, the trial of the century occurred, which was about OJ, whether OJ Simpson had killed it was his former wife, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Nicole Brown Simpson.
And Ron Goldman.
And Ron Goldman, her boyfriend. And it just captured the country. I mean, the whole country was glued to their TVs for weeks and weeks. Well, even I think went on a couple months, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it went on a long time. And the glove that you had mentioned, like there was the big saying of if the glove doesn't fit, then you must acquit.
I can't believe you remember that, Tim.
Yeah. When you mentioned glove, that for whatever reason that came flying back. But yeah, it really captured the curiosity of the entire nation. And O.J. Simpson was acquitted. He was found not guilty, which shocked most of the people because the evidence seemed to be quite overwhelming.
He had a good lawyer.
That particular the night of the incident, you actually saw him in the white Bronco outside your door.
A block and a half away from Nicole.
My God, slamming on the brakes.
Wow.
Slammed on the brakes, did a 180, looked directly. Unfortunately, we had eye contact.
Wow.
Can I show you the book?
Yes.
Absolutely, please do.
Anyway, hold the book up and put it right close to the lens, as close as you can get it.
Over this way, just a little bit.
Okay.
The other way. The other way.
Yeah, keep going.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
And you know what? I have a good copy of it here too. Whoever designed the graphic on this is really a fabulous graphic.
Eyewitness of O.J. Simpson.
Thank you. I just had them add my picture to the cover.
Cool. It is a really great graphic. So let's go back to the very beginning of you, Christina, for your need to be so truthful. You strike me as the kind of person that wants to right the things that are wrong. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Olympia, Washington.
Okay. And you were adopted by older parents.
Yes.
Who probably taught you good values, right?
Boy, they really did. I was very blessed and lucky to have such amazing parents.
Right. And
so what was it like growing up in what did you do? Did you like, what were some of your interests growing up there at school and extracurricular activities?
And you know what? I played some instruments.
Okay.
I played the guitar. I never took them on very much, but I did play the piano, the flute, the violin. I love music, but I really love to sing. So that was my favorite art of music. And I also played baseball.
Oh, wow.
And it was kind of fun. And I played soccer.
I'm sure everybody here sees the humor in that. The universe talking to us right there, right? And did you know who O.J. Simpson was?
I had no idea. I didn't have any idea who he was until I moved to Los Angeles.
Right.
And then I knew, he was the famous football player. That's really all I knew about him, because I didn't really know much about him until that night.
Wow.
Even though he lived close, I just didn't really pay much attention to it.
So you were really sitting on the truth.
Yeah.
On time before. What was the catalyst that made you say, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. I'm writing this book. I'm telling my story. I want people to know what really happened. Like, what happened inside your head to make you do that?
I guess with the challenging market, after the pandemic and just for financial status, I thought, my God, and true crime was the biggest thing in Hollywood.
Right.
And I thought, what am I doing? I've got the biggest one.
Right.
So this is a legendary murder case where I'm actually the eyewitness, and it's stated in the defense list. So I took it to Voyage Media, and they loved it. They wanted to do a feature film. And I just wanted, I went to them to do a true crime podcast to get to all the true crime networks. And their producer I spoke with really wanted to do a feature film. So I had them do a treatment, and I was in such harm's way at this time. I had people following me with my phone, my internet, following me around with handicapped cars and, just really aggressively threatening me. So, and I would take screenshots and I would send that to Voyage Media. So he knew that I was in harm's way. Mm-hmm. So finally he says, Christina, let's just do the podcast and pitch it to all the true crime networks. I can do that. Obviously, we need to do this right now to keep you safe. So I sent him the money, and about a week later, I had a producer, a whole team of people. He sent me an app on my phone so we could build it all together. And about 4 days later, I got a call from him, and I didn't even recognize his voice. Like, he was so distraught of what he had to tell me because I'd been working with him for a year.
Oh my God.
He said, Christina, all I can say is I can't do this. I have to send your money back. So, and that really put me in more harm's way.
Oh my God.
What was the reason he was giving you?
He didn't.
You think
somebody got to him?
I think the Kardashians, they've done a lot of damage to my life. I'm actually here in Westlake Village right now. I did live in Malibu for 28 years. And when Kim found out, she moved a mile away from me in Malibu. She bought a house there, and all of a sudden I had about 50 Kardashians around me 24/7. And I mean that to the point where they, like Kylie called her friends. Caitlyn had her, whatever you want to call Caitlyn, was putting people around me at Starbucks and Vintage Market, all the places I would go, they would.
You would run into a Kardashian or someone connected to them?
Pardon me, can you ask that again?
Yes. Anywhere you went, you would run into a Kardashian or someone connected to the Kardashians.
Exactly, but Wendy, in a big way. Like, it's visual. It was visual. It wasn't like, and today they drive down the road swerving towards my car.
Oh, geez.
So that happened this morning. It's just they won't stop. So I want to get back to Malibu, though, Westlake. See, what happened was Kim put all those people around me. I rented a room on Broad Beach, and I had been there for 8 years. So these young people would rent a room, and they'd start, smashing food, telling me to move, just horrific, trying to bully me out of the house. So that didn't work, Wendy. I'm a pretty tough lady. So, and that was my home. But then the people that she put in the house started to not pay the rent and leave. And when you do that to a landlord, depending on the 6 rooms that he has for lease, and then for a few months in a row, people are coming and going and not paying rent, it put him in incredible harm's way. Right. So it forced everybody to move.
Wow.
Then when I moved out, and they wouldn't let me find a place in Malibu. They kept, I'd find a place and I wouldn't get it, or it'd be not available. So I finally, one of the friends that wasn't involved in this, a nice young kid named Jacob, really good man, he needed to move too. So we ended up getting a place together in Westlake, where I am now. And I just found a place in Malibu, and I'll be moving back next month.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because it's my home. I raised my son there. I did a lot of great things for the community. I saved people out of the water because I lived on the water. So if I saw, one of the kite surfers like struggling in the kelp or something, so I actually got to save 3 people out of the water.
Oh my God!
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah. You need to be in Malibu and near the water, but aren't you concerned about the fact that now you're kind of like, pardon the pun, a sitting duck for anyone that has evil intentions towards you. You're accessible because you're currently, you said, in a gated community. Now you're going to be exposed.
Well, I wasn't in a gated community at Broad Beach.
Okay.
I was in a gated community when I moved here 28 years ago.
Got it.
But I get what you're saying, and you know what? They attack me in Westlake, just like they did in Malibu. So I might as well be at least where I'm comfortable and have some friends that they haven't paid not to be my friend, so to say.
Right.
Yeah, and unfortunately that has happened. I'm a TCP driver.
Tell me what that is.
I'm a black SUV driver.
Okay.
For Uber and Lyft, so I'm like a private driver.
Oh.
And they would pay off my clients not to do business with me or pay me the money they owed me. So these people are super Illuminati, put it that way.
Wow.
Yeah, that's so everything you said is leading towards the whole Illuminati thing, which I happen to know about because I have a friend that's totally into that. And in New York, we don't pick up on that so much, but out on the coast, there's all, Tom Cruise and all that. We all hear this stuff about the Illuminati. So they are, and correct me if I'm wrong, they're the ones that are really threatening to you. They have you marked.
Yeah, they do in a big way. Yeah. Yeah, because what they do is, it's called gang stalking, and I didn't know what it was called until I was experiencing it. And Wendy, one thing I don't do is lies, and I don't do evil. I have a beautiful love brand called Mere Angels. She's a mermaid angel. It's to remind everybody to do random acts of love, help, and kindness every day.
Love that.
I did close her. I have her in my book, and I have a screenplay. We have a screenplay treatment for feature film. So I put my brand in it to get love around the world.
Right. And you're going to have Mer Angel merchandise too. I was reading about Mer Angel, which it's interesting with everything that has happened to you. You still are finding the good. Your truth is the good. To find the good, to find the kindness, to raise people up. So, kudos to you with everything that you've gone through. This is a lot to be living under, Christina.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Well, I think I'm going to be taking some probably FBI actions in a day or so.
Wow.
I mean, just keep myself safe. The Kardashians.
I was going to say, do you have a bodyguard or anything like that?
I don't, but I have a lot of faith.
You have faith.
And, regardless who thinks of that way, I have my faith, and God's got me every day.
Right. Right.
And I'd like to tell you what happened. The day that OJ passed, that was my mom's birthday.
By the way, this book coming out and him passing.
Right.
I heard about you in the book, and then he dies. I'm like, oh boy, this is like kismet, right?
Right. Because I don't think, out of all the days in a year, I truly believe God did that to show me that I got you.
Right.
Like, I'm in control of this situation. Just keep doing what you're doing. Right. And I just feel very strongly that the truth needed to get down, come into alignment with the world, because you can't go around living lies. If you do, the truth in your life can't be in the right alignment. Right. So I truly in my heart did not think I was going to get death threats, have them mess with my money every day, have them track me, follow me. I mean, I didn't sign up for that. All I wanted to do was get the truth out and make this a big true crime network, because it's the truth.
Right.
And I wasn't to hurt anybody. It wasn't to do any of that. And I had no idea Caitlin, Kim, Chris, and Kylie were going to attack me, because they shouldn't be putting themselves in that position, being who they are.
Right.
Because basically I'm Nicole.
Well, what do you feel their motivation is?
Yeah.
why are they doing this? Is that because for one thing, back to the trial,
Yes,
one of OJ's lawyers was the Kardashian father, correct?
Right. Yes.
Uh-huh.
And I'm happy that you said that, because I had several people, they put people in my car to give me messages, because I'm an Uber Lyft driver.
Oh my God.
That's really
Yeah.
scary. So
That's
they're
frightening.
putting plants in your car.
Yes. They've put devices in my car to track me.
Oh,
I found, the iPhone, like I've found them in my car. It's so sad that I think Kim doesn't want people to know her dad was lying. That's what one of the clients said when they got in my car.
wow.
And they just said it out of the blue. So obviously,
oh my God.
Yeah, so Kim put him in the car to tell me that. And, I'm on the defense list. It's not like I'm a secret. It's not like nobody knew.
Uh-huh.
Right?
I think though, Christina, with this book, right? It's like I said to you initially, we opened up a can of worms.
I did. But
okay. The can of worms has been opened up, and it's really going to be opened up because, like, the timing on this, your book comes out, he passes away. People are going to start reading this, and now even more questions. Something that should have been dead and buried 30 years ago, right? Has now resurrected. And I'm curious to see how this is dealt with in the public eye going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So am I.
Are you? I mean, do you still want to go ahead?
I was just going to ask. Now, did you ever take the stand in the trial?
No.
No. So the defense or the prosecution did not?
No.
Do you know why they did not?
I do believe. I called Van Adderen Lang when they were having the glove scene, when there was talk about it. So I called them up and I said, I'll be a witness. Mm-hmm. And they said, we told them that you were credible.
That you were not credible?
Exactly.
Oh, why?
I wish I knew. It's been such a big challenge, obviously, for me.
Right.
It's affected too many years of my life. And, although I didn't like the Kardashians just because I felt that they branded their stuff off of lies and murder, that, I never really paid attention to them, but I truly didn't believe I was going to be physically attacked by them, ruining my life, my revenue, all of it.
Now I'm going to bring somebody from out of left field who was very involved in this. Kaylin.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Has he been involved in any way in terms of you, or tell us what you know about him?
I don't know anything about Cato other than what I saw, like everybody did on TV. They really kept it a secret.
Yeah.
They didn't want anybody to know that I was around. And then after the trial, obviously they were still watching me for years. Mm-hmm. And, because of the trial, right? When he was going to get out of jail and I was going to do my story acquirer.
Right.
So after that, I knew that they were still watching. And then even when I went to Voyage Media, this should already be in Hollywood a year and a half ago.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so every day I do the best that I can and to keep myself safe and get ahead and get my book bestseller.
Yes.
Right.
I'm also have a screenplay that I'm pitching to producers, directors to do my project, because it really needs to get out there. And I'm really surprised that I haven't done any, like Channel 11, I've pitched them, Channel 5, Channel 9, Channel 2, all the channels. I would think they would be wanting stories on me, and they're not.
Do you think, I know, and you know what, when he passed away recently, all I could think of is it's a natural that they would pick up on your book being out at the same time. And you're right. Like, why not? Unless someone got to them, unless somebody got to them, you don't know.
Right.
Oh, I know. They did get.
You do.
Because everybody, all the news channels should be at my door.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing a documentary on Lifetime, I believe, is doing a documentary on Nicole.
Hmm.
So I would think
Oh,
that.
yes, I saw that. Yeah.
I would think that they would interview me,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Well, did you now? Have you tried to pitch yourself? Call them when you heard they were
Like
doing
the Brown family.
Yeah.
Nicole's family.
You know what? I reached out to them years ago when the trial was going on, and I don't know if my emails got through to them, or I didn't know how their phone number, but I did try to reach out to them.
Mm-hmm.
And
they never picked up on it.
No.
Well, I think it's certainly this documentary that you're talking about. I think it's certainly worth contacting whoever the powers that be are at Lifetime. You have absolutely nothing to lose, and you have a book, and you were there that night. So you know what I'm saying? Why not?
Exactly. I don't know the people at Lifetime. I've got actually I have a lady who I met, and she's got her own TV show. She's a producer, so she's going to do another interview with me in July, August.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she's got connections with Sony and Warner Brothers, because actually being what this is, all of them should be wanting.
I would think so. Yeah.
I mean, what do you think? It would be one of the biggest. And I want to get back to something. Years ago, I was a driver then. I picked up a man in Malibu, and he said, "Oh, we're going to the Emmys," and I said, "Great."
Mm-hmm.
So he's on the phone talking, and all of a sudden we get to San Vicente. And we're getting really close to Bundy. And my spirit was like, ask him what he's nominated for. So I said, pardon me, but what are you nominated for? And he said, O.J. Simpson. And I said, well, I think you forgot somebody. And I told the story, Wendy. His face was sheet white when he got out of the car. He knew I wasn't lying. So the night that they won an Emmy, they found out about me.
Oh.
That's
Isn't that kind of wild?
Yeah, so much amazing crossover stuff in all of this. Wow, of all the people that could have ended up in your car.
Oh, and I've got one more of those that I have to share with you.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't an intentional car accident. Okay. There was a witness from Starbucks that Caitlin sits very close to the table. And I had 2 car accidents. And so in a week, and that just doesn't happen. I have a clean H6 and I'm an amazing driver, and they were intentional. So the reason why I say that is the star barista came up to me and said, Christina, that wasn't an accident. That was intentional. They're trying to get rid of you, and I will be your witness.
Wow.
Yeah.
What had happened there? Like,
actually, I put my this is so wild. So I put my business card and my son, he is, on Instagram, and I just put it, I just posted it, and then I got a big ride. I was taking these clients wherever I was going, but I was on PCH, and this 2 cars hit me. And you could kind of tell it was intentional. The way.
Oh my God.
And they targeted my driver door. I had picked up, and I should back up. I'm kind of ahead of myself.
Okay, yeah, we're here for the story, believe me.
Right now, I had picked up this A-list woman that was probably friends with the Kardashians. Mm-hmm. And I was incredibly nice to her, and I actually told her that she was one of my biggest fans because I used to watch her when I was a little girl. Well, strangely enough, I had picked her up a few more times because she was pretty close to the house. But her trainer came up to me and told me that I was going to be handicapped if I didn't shut up.
Oh my God.
2 weeks later, I'm in an intentional car accident.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. So then, unfortunately, I was injured, but not too much, but I was injured. So being a driver like myself, you just don't go get these cars. So it took my fleet manager about a week to get me a new car. So, and that's what they do. They attack my money and my life. So they knew I was supporting.
They got into your bank accounts too?
Yes, Wendy. Yes.
This is it's incredible because the kind of thing you're talking about with the Illuminati, they could really do that to anybody. That's an incredible amount of power. You hear what we're saying here, that they defy anything legal and can just randomly, well, in your case, it wasn't random, but they can target somebody and just completely get all their information.
That's what they've done.
So, now, how has your son been affected? I
was going to say, and now he's grown, right?
He grew up through this.
Yeah, and it's been incredibly challenging for us because who likes to have their mom attacked every death threat?
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, it's horrific, and they do put people in his car, and he rents out. He used to have a 3-bedroom. He would rent 2 bedrooms. So they would. The other A-list person I was talking about would put people in his house and be mean to him and not rent, and so they've been hurting DJ too, not just me.
Oh my God!
And then last night I drove by the baseball field. My son was recognized by a Yankee because he's an amazing player, but he was going to. Unfortunately, DJ got injured, but if he hadn't got injured, he'd be on right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that being said, they put in Malibu is where we lived, right? Raised. So when I drive by, they stage ambulances and white vans by the baseball field because he was a catcher. So they did it last night. I drove by and there was an ambulance at the baseball field. So it's just horrific and bad what they do, and they think because of their money, they can get away with it. And I don't have any protection from the Lost Hills sheriffs. They basically purchased.
Right. And if you having a lawyer to, defend you or expose all this or whatever, you can't do that because they're even bigger than that. Is that what you're saying?
Wendy, that's all I need is a good attorney.
Right.
Like
with all that's going on, there's got to be somebody out there
that will take on the Kardashians because it's worth a lot of money. I have all the evidence, and they're threatening my life. And then they also got exposed for Diddy, with Sean Combs.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot coming out on that one.
Oh, P. Diddy's all over the place.
But the great part about it, that happened right after he passed. Right? So to me, that was God exposing them because I couldn't get them because they have too much money. But he exposed them right away after that happened. So I do need to go to the FBI, and I will. But I wanted to do this interview first before I did.
Well, I'm glad you came to see us first, and then the FBI.
Yes.
That's like on the hierarchy. If these it's really up there.
You know what? I'm just doing what I have to do.
No,
absolutely.
They'd be doing the same thing. So I'm like, I really don't understand hate. I've never understood hate or being mean to people. There has to be a way to make this right.
Of course. It's interesting, Christina, because when I was reading about you as an entrepreneur, you were very successful by the time you were 23.
Yeah.
You were heading up a title agency in real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were saying, and some of the things I read, people were jealous of you, Sometimes people can't stand to see someone else at a young age by themselves do so well. And that was your experience with me, correct?
Yes, I have had so many jealous women, but they hurt your life. Like they go out of their way to hurt you, and you didn't do anything. Like all I was a good mom, and I worked my ass off, and I took care of my son. So I didn't understand I never have understood that, because these people are women that got jealous. They had husbands and houses and millions of dollars. And I didn't want their husbands. I never looked at them.
Oh, please. I know women who think you want their house. You can have them on a silver platter. You look at guys and it's like, ew.
Exactly. It's like, are you kidding me? I would.
You can have them.
I figured out what it was. It was the way the husbands were looking at me.
Right. Yeah, probably.
That's why they got jealous.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and but for them to go out of their way to hurt me and my son, that's to me, there's mental issues there, you know, because it's not normal for people to go around destroying people.
You know, okay, I may not totally agree with you about that, in that, you know, Tim and I both know tons of people, right? We're big in social media and we're big out there. We pick and choose, of course, who to surround ourselves with. But I see stuff out there where people intentionally go to hurt other people, and
unfortunately,
like in the in the LGBTQ world, where everybody should be on the same side, you would think. I see some pettiness and I see ugliness, and Tim knows what I'm talking about. It's impossible that we know, and it's like, why on earth would you, you know, go against like your own, or in your case, like, why would you go against another woman she's just raising her son? Listen, I had an experience with someone who had been a producer, who shall remain unnamed, that I allowed to live with me for 5 years. I thought this woman was my friend. She turned out to be anything but, and she really warmed in on my entire life. I'm a very trusting person, although less so now. It took me decades to realize, don't surround yourself with those people that, you know, pretend they're your friend. They give you encouragement, but it's fake. All of us need to fly on our own wings, right? We talk about this all the time. You need to fly on your own wings. Don't depend on the camaraderie of others, or people telling you how fabulous you are, or they're going to help you get this, that, and the other. And I fell for that hook, line, and sinker. I only did it once in my entire life, thank God. But I can certainly connect with what you're going through. I want to know, Christina, how do we help, and what do we all need to do, you especially, going forward, so that you can lead the life that you deserve?
You know, if you know any attorneys or producers or directors, the faster, those are the 2 things I need, Wendy. Like, an attorney could fix this today.
Right.
Because
it has to be a powerful attorney, not a schlemieli attorney.
Exactly, because this is defamation.
Just to call attention to their name. You need like a very legit guy that doesn't care about that, who is out to expose, who is very well placed and can just defend, you know, your right, which you're entitled to.
Exactly. And I would really love to find out how I could contact the people that are indicting and looking into the Kardashians for the Combs, and, you know, with Diddy. I would love to get a hold of those people, because I could at least tell them really what's going on and what they're doing to me.
Yeah, it's funny being on the East Coast, other than reading about it. None of us have we don't have that kind of stuff here on the East Coast. My suggestion is eventually move to New York and do book signings at Barnes and Noble. It's much more neutral. It's, you know, we don't have a lot of that here. LA, I don't.
Well, it does happen, unfortunately, in some circles. Unfortunately, you've got negative people that are driven by negativity everywhere. Like Wendy and I have just been very, like she said, very careful about who we surround ourselves with. And when you're surrounded by goodness and positive people, it's easy to forget that there are some negative people that are driven by negativity out there, and insecurities and just meanness and cruelty. And it does exist, unfortunately.
All my life, I've always attracted really cool, down to earth, nice, kind people, because you attract who you are.
Right.
So I've been very lucky to have my small group of friends that, thank God, I still have today, that I've known for 25 years, that have still stayed with me as a friend, knowing all this. And they have hurt my friends. My friends have been in car accidents. They mess with their phone. They mess with their internet. It's like, this stuff really needs to stop. Don't you think? I mean, so I was hoping with my interview, this interview, it exposes them on a certain level, and I can market it hopefully to some attorneys and get the protection that I need. And
certainly telling your story, and as an intuitive person, I see for you, you need to do many more interviews, right, and get it out there. And I would set up book signings all over the place. Okay, I would just, for lack of a better word, target myself in a positive way. Hey, I was there. Hey, I wrote this book. This is me, and this is who I am. And I would use my own power, right, to get that out there.
Wendy, that's exactly what I've been doing, because I'm not doing anything wrong.
Right, exactly.
And that's how they make you feel, because and so that's the aspect that I'm taking on this, to start doing. I would love to do some book signings and get that set up.
So Christina, how do people find out about your book? Where can they find your book?
Oh, you know what? They can find it on Amazon. Unfortunately, I've had some challenges because they'll stop. You know, I'll try to market it on 50 platforms and they'll make it not happen. So I'm a little up against that. It's kind of like the same reason why I have a little tiny screen on my laptop. This should be a big screen.
Right.
You follow what I'm saying? So, yeah, we aren't having a private conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
What about your website, ChristinaWolford.com?
Oh,
can people find out more about that there?
Yes. Yeah, I've got my interviews on there. I have an article from LA Journal, Spotlight TV interview for 12 minutes. And I also have my website, Mere Angels, and it's with Printify. But the link is there. And I have these fabulous cups. You see?
I think you can.
Isn't she gorgeous?
I love it.
Mere Angels is just to remind everybody in this horrible, cruel world we are in to be nice. Do random love, help, and kindness. You know, it feels so much better. It is so much better. And I just really want to promote love around the world. And I also closed the movie with her, with Mere Angels. So at the end of this horrible movie, I brand love.
Nice. Well, Christina Wolford, your book is called Eyewitness O.J. Simpson, How It Really Happened, on Amazon. And we're very grateful. Thank you very much for taking some time and sharing what's going on in your life. And I'm sure I speak for Wendy, that where we're just sending you love and light and protection and just goodness.
And if you know of anybody at Lifetime, or you could refer me to anybody to do any more interviews, please keep me in mind.
Just putting that out there for you. There's a couple of things. An agent that really wants to market your book, set up book signings for you. That same person, so I'm channeling this for you right now. That same person that is well connected to get you some TV interviews, that would really be helpful. More literary interviews. The LHJ interview, by the way, was excellent. Everything that you want known about you that's a really great interview. Whoever wrote that, so it's a shining piece about the whole thing. Tim and I are both sending that you get that attorney that you want, and in the universe to come and surround you and help you pursue truth, because that's what you're doing, and we thank you for that.
You're so welcome. Well, thank you so much. It's nice to get the truth out and get more love around the world. And I think the movie is actually an Oscar Emmy winning movie.
Yay!
Yes.
We're gonna get it there. So you guys are the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christina Wolford.
Picture when the show is over. So we want to thank our audience for tuning in today. Fascinating story, and you can find more about ChristinaWolford.com. There's a lot of really good stuff on her website as well, and the book can be purchased on Amazon. Thank you all so much for being with us today. See you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Wendy.